Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sybil. It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. How are you? And it's one of those days. It's just the girls. How you doing, Coy Malone?
I'm doing pretty good, Sybil. Girl power, black
Yes,
girl magic.
yes. All of that excellence, and you name it. What's going on with you?
Ooh, everything and nothing.
What does that mean?
I just say that because I can make it seem like it's everything, like
Mhm. Oh,
so
you
much, but
recognize
then
that?
but then
Oh,
nothing because you know what? I can probably deal with it. We're gonna see. I don't know. It's a little bit of a challenge. So work has been amazing. I am now looking to get some certifications under my belt
mhm.
that the company is actually sponsoring. So it's a couple of those I need to finish so I can add that to my resume.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and I'm becoming, I guess, a trusted name in technology because a lot of people are coming to me now with
You're a
their computer
trusted name
problems.
in technology. All
Yes,
right.
I
Okay.
like saying that
Put it out
because
there. Okay.
yeah,
You,
because when
even if
you
it's not true quite yet, put it out there. Make it happen.
yeah, no, for real. When you deal with a lot of different people on a day-to-day basis and you're fixing their computers and what have you, you like to build a good rapport and at least seem like you know what you're talking about and what you're
Sure.
doing. And so far, so good on that aspect of things.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good on you. And let's keep the good work going.
Yes.
Absolutely. We are,
Oh,
oh,
last thing. I posted a TikTok video and it went viral over the weekend. So everybody check out my TikTok
and those of us that don't
after.
have TikTok, because TikTok, no.
It's on my Instagram page
Okay.
too, my
Okay.
last video.
Okay. All right. Cool. Don't do the TikTok. No, I'm just saying I don't do the TikTok. Not telling people not to. Whatever you want to, whatever blows your skirt up, I'm fine. So Chris and Huggy are not here today. Huggy is traveling, and actually so is Chris. So Chris may be able to join us. I'm not sure, but we will move along and talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. It's absolutely free. It is what we endeavor to do every day, which is to super serve the African American community with our stories and information. And Coy Malone is our social justice contributor, and as such, gives us some of the worst things that life can possibly hand to people. And I don't mean that in the manner in which she does it. She does a great job, but it's the tone of the stories. It's the bottom line of these stories that brings about such sadness in the way that Black people are still being treated in the social justice realm. And Coy has a story about a young man who was killed in Tennessee after he allegedly stole a bottle of detergent from a discount store, and he was killed by a policeman who just the week before had gotten into some trouble with another person. And so, Corey, tell us a little bit and what you know about Jarvion Hudspeth.
Okay, so this is a 21-year-old black man who was stopped by a Shelby County Sheriff's Office deputy in Raleigh, Tennessee on June 24th. And according to the reports, this young man attempted to flee and dragged the deputy for 100 yards. And during that time, the deputy ended up firing a single fatal shot. And the deputy was taken to the hospital and he was in critical condition after the entire situation went down. So apparently on June 29th, the young man's mother, Charlotte, said that the family hadn't been contacted by the sheriff's office to be informed about her son's death. And they said that the only thing they heard about her son was that he had criminal activity, but she made it known that he wasn't any kind of criminal. Um, she asked, was it criminal that he had a flashy car? He didn't hang in gangs. He didn't go out to clubs. And some people thought he was what she called a square bear because he didn't do anything. So there's been a community advocate named Kareem Ali who has also announced that the family hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who will help represent the family. And they're asking for transparency because the body camera footage hasn't been released and the investigation has been turned over to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. They're hoping that this kind of speeds up the process, but there is no laid out process in terms of how long does this take to release body camera footage. How long does it take to start an investigation? They're just hoping that there is speed in this case because of what happened earlier this year with Tyree Nichols, unfortunately, who was also fatally beaten in Tennessee. And many feel like the reason why camera footage from Tyree Nichols' case was released so fast was because there were eyewitness videos. You know, there was a lot of different surveillance video. So hopefully we get the same thing with this young man. But nonetheless, this is still another tragedy that happened in Tennessee with another black man being killed by police and no answers
Did
and
they
nobody answering
confirm?
for it.
Did they confirm that he really did steal a bottle of detergent? That this is what it was over?
Now, I didn't see anything about what was actually stolen. I saw that this was just a traffic stop that
Oh,
he
okay.
apparently
Okay.
ran from. That may be, I think, tomorrow's story.
Oh, I'm looking at tomorrow's story. Okay.
They're
Sorry. Okay.
also they
Yeah,
just
I'm
blend
sorry.
together.
I've
Like
done
I
that
had to,
before. I'm sorry. Yeah.
and it's sad that we're in a state of times now where these stories just they just start blending together. This young man that we're talking about, 21-year-old Jarvion Hudspeth, was actually laid to rest over this weekend with family members, siblings, and friends, where they share their confusion and grief over the entire story because there's still no answers about this.
This, like I said, and as you said, they all kind of blend one into the other. The difference being maybe it's a black woman as opposed to a black man, or younger or older. But it does, and I just finished doing the story about the three elders of the Tulsa community who were fighting for recompense in the Tulsa race riot, the
Mm-hmm.
massacre in 1921. Over 100 years later, three people are still alive: 109, 108, and 102
Wow.
years old. And they've gotten bumped by a judge and saying they cannot refile this case. So all of the injustices are kind of running in my head, but it is, and I don't know how you do it, and I know I say this all the time, and I really don't know how people like Ben Crump keep going.
Oh
Uh,
goodness.
Ben Crump, Attorney Griggs, Lee Merritt, C.K. Hoffler, you name
Michael
it.
Harper.
Yeah, you name their names, and it's like they
Every week is something.
yeah,
And I'm keeping up on their Instagram pages. There are stories that are going on here locally that they're still fighting for. There are other national cases that they're fighting for. This isn't just a local problem, it's a nationwide problem.
for
And
sure.
they're doing this on a continuous basis. I haven't even let you all know information that I want to share with all our readers. Next week, y'all make sure you definitely tune in next Monday for the guest that I'm working on with another story out of California. That it's just they all just start blending together.
Yeah, coast to coast, north to south. They once again, we're confronted with these stories. But good job, and whatever you need to keep your spirits up. I'm not sure what that entails, but do what you need to do in order to keep it, because it is, as we talk about with Aprilette, your mental health and wellness are most important, no matter what you do in life, no matter where you are. We need to, and there is a lot of anxiety and other stories of people who feel as though they're never going to get out of this cycle.
Right.
And so we have to do, what we can to support these young people, these older people, their families, all of that, as they are going through another challenge in their lives. And as you mentioned, we're still kind of reeling from Tyree Nichols,
Right.
and
Still
that was,
fresh.
yeah, that was just a few months ago at the beginning of the year. So um, I'm just really sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Among the other things, and I'm really sorry about this too. Another violent weekend in the country, and this was a crazy case in which we talked about a man who, according to police, had some sort of mental or nervous condition, went on a shooting spree on a scooter on the streets of New York in
Oh
Brooklyn,
yeah.
Queens. And I didn't identify him as such. They gave the identity as a 25-year-old man. Some news sources cited him as a Hispanic man. Others did not give a background on him at all. But this is a case where he, at about 11 o'clock on Saturday, he was on this scooter and randomly, according to the reports, started shooting at people. Started at 11, as I said. A man shot in the shoulder on a Brooklyn street. A second call came out about 20 minutes later, in which an 86-year-old man was shot in the back. And sorry to report that he succumbed to his injuries. Two more shootings occurred within 2 minutes of each other. One man reported in critical condition after being shot in the face,
Oh my
and
God.
another was shot in the shoulder. Once again, he's riding down the street and, according to the reports, randomly shooting at someone. Um, and and then in Cleveland, there was a mass shooting in which uh, 9 people, I believe, were wounded. And in Chicago, on the streets of Chicago, another violent weekend in which at least 18 people, and this isn't even, this is the post holiday weekend,
This is
and people killed across the streets of Chicago. 18 killed, at least 4 people killed, and 18 shot.
it's just we used to say, well, it's summertime and this is when we
Hmm.
have like a lot of crime, which it does happen, but it's the types of crimes that we're seeing now. And it's just not a localized problem in certain areas or what
Right.
have you. Once again, this is a nationwide problem
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed, but there's nothing being done about it.
And what can be addressed, Coy, in my opinion, are the guns, and
Mm-hmm.
how people, how readily, how easily people can get guns. The shooter on the scooter, don't mean to rhyme there, but he had a gun in which the numbers, if there were numbers, they said they couldn't identify the gun and thought perhaps it was a ghost gun. So that is a problem, and the uh, conservative members of the House and the Senate don't seem to want to do anything about gun control because they are being paid to keep their mouths shut regarding gun control, or gun safety, as a lot of people are now calling it, because of the money that is coming in from the NRA and other, not only from gun manufacturing companies, but ammunition manufacturing companies. It is something has to be done, and and as I said in the story, tweeting your thoughts and prayers, that's not going to do a damn thing.
No.
That's not going to bring people back. That's not going to, and a lot of these shootings are in guns that are legally owned. But should they be in the hands of young people because they're in their parents' house and not taking responsibility for young people who are not well?
And yet here we are in a country where guns are readily available, but when it comes down to the choices that a woman can make with her body,
Come
we
on.
can't have that.
No, no.
But now we have to worry about children, more children
Yeah,
that could possibly succumb to gun violence.
yeah. They don't want to tell you what to do with your guns, but they don't mind telling a woman what she can do with her body.
Mm-hmm.
That is madness to me. That just, or they want to tell us what kind of books we can read, or they want to tell us, you like name all the things that the
What kind of
rules.
hair we can wear.
Yeah,
Let's
all
not
these
get started on the
rules.
George Floyd Act.
All of these things that they want to tell us to do, and yet we can't tell them what to do on things that are nearest and dearest to their hearts, and that's guns. And that leads to death, and especially death of Black people. It doesn't make
Good
any
thing we
sense.
don't have a problem. So,
Yeah, yeah, right. And even when they are cited, or like in the case of the school children in Nashville, Tennessee, one of the teachers that was killed, I think it was the principal, was the
mhm.
best friend of the governor's wife, and that didn't mean anything.
That's
So
awful.
how close does it have to get to you? Does it, because I know, and I say this all the time, the congressman from Louisiana, who is the second or third highest, depending on where Marjorie Taylor Greene is today, second or third highest ranking Republican in the Congress, uh, he was shot while they were practicing for a baseball game a few years ago. If he shot, he was in serious condition. People were gathered at his bedside, and that wasn't close enough for them to make changes.
Not even when.
Ronald Reagan was shot, and his press spokesperson uh, suffered a brain injury, and they had to fight outside of the White House for changes in gun safety rules and regulations
And
because
then
of the NRA.
wasn't what was his name? Dick Cheney.
Well, he shot someone in the face with buckshot, and
And no one cared. What did they say?
no,
Jimmy crack corn and
yeah,
no
and
one
I don't
cared.
care. Yeah, yeah, or crack your face, and I don't care.
I just don't know what is it going to take. Like we thought, when I was younger, I thought that Columbine was going to be
Right, that
the
was gonna be the
thing that said,
change.
"Hey,
Yep.
listen, we got to do something about this." And now it's a Columbine like every month or so. Like
Right,
it just
right. Or we avoided another Columbine. Phew, now we can go back to our regular lives. But it doesn't matter that 21 people, 19 children and two teachers were massacred in their classroom. And people stood by. And nobody's paying the price for this.
all right.
And certainly the parents are still grieving because of a state like Texas that does not do anything about this. And then just days after this massacre, they went to the NRA convention in Houston.
Someone please send help now.
Yeah, really. Let's put up the sign and pray. Also, we talked about the Supreme Court. What is going to be done about the Supreme Court? Well, when the decisions don't go your way, that's when the conversations continue about how are we going to stop the conservatives, and just as they used to say, how are we going to stop the liberals from having control over the Supreme Court, letting black people go to our schools? And now it's like, okay, then we'll stop that. We'll put more conservatives on. We'll stop having health care and having women have control over their bodies. We will stop affirmative action in the schools, both public and private schools, and we will stop the president from doing anything to help people who are underwater in their school loans. And as people are dissatisfied with these decisions, they're saying, "What are we going to do? We got to put more people on. We have to change the rules. We have to put term limits that nobody should be in the Supreme Court as long as Clarence Thomas has been." And with the kind of decisions that he is writing now, pretty soon he's going to come out against interracial marriage. He's moving that closer to it, and maybe he just wants to get away from Jenny. I don't know, but they are unhappy with him. They are unhappy with the other conservatives, and so they're talking about putting 18-year term limits on the Supreme Court. You're going to have to go and change the Constitution because the Supreme Court justices have a lifelong job. You're going to have to, and then they're talking about packing the court. You're going to have to get people on your side on that in the House and the Senate. Not likely to happen unless people vote and vote for those who are supporting Joe Biden or who were supporting Donald Trump in his packing the court with three conservatives. And that's certainly what Mitch McConnell did
Mm-hmm.
in his effort to hold 10, 11 months before someone was able to was able to nominate someone to the Supreme Court. And because people voted for Donald Trump and did not vote for Hillary Clinton, we got what we deserve.
And there it is.
And there it is. And there it
But
is.
nobody wants to hear that.
No, 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 no. So these are the things that I talk about in the newsletter. Also, check out the Black Health Matters section of the newsletter. Talks about glaucoma and what your risks are for getting that disease. And Ministry Monday with the great Willie Mae McIver talks about disciples and discipleship in there. Get some church in your life. And if you make it all the way down, check out the Little Known Black History Factor, which I was going to bring up to Chris Paul, a gentleman who looks like he could be Chris's grandfather. His name was William T. Coleman. He was a pioneering legal figure who argued major cases in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. So check out Mr. Coleman, who passed away in 2017, but a nice piece about him. All right. Please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe. It is free. We'll have it in your email box. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday. And Coy, let us move now. I'm talking about the newsletter and kind of running down what people may or may not have seen. If you have any comments or questions or want to talk about it, um, most definitely. And I just realized I have what's really going on and I don't have a question. So I'm going to come to you as the chef, Coy, because I believe you also had your family reunion not too long ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is um, who should or should not be invited to the next barbecue? It can be a political, it can be personal, it can be someone in your family, it can be someone in the headlines, a public figure. But did somebody bring or did something to the family reunion? You're like, this doesn't work for us. No, I don't care. I don't care how much we love Aunt Lou. This potato salad, it's a little soupy.
That's funny. I have an aunt named Annie Lou. Oh, God rest her soul.
Yes, we all got an Aunt Lou. And what was the dish? And if you want to tell on yourself, you don't want to be bothered. Tell us why that happened at the last family reunion or 4th of July barbecue. Who should
Well,
not come and what did they bring?
well, everybody that came, they were all invited and welcomed. We had our family reunion catered. I actually didn't get a chance to try any of the food, so I don't
Oh,
know how it was. But I'm
how
planning
is
the
it that
one coming
you
up.
did not get to eat anything?
I don't know. A lot of it was unorganized, just to be honest. So I don't know who got to eat, if there was enough to eat for everyone. I didn't even get a shirt and I paid for it. So it's just like, So I took the lead to plan our upcoming family reunion. So
When
I
is
can
the
tell you next
upcoming?
year. Well, hopefully next year, maybe the year after. I'm just trying to, get our committees together, get everything planned, and just have all the events laid out so it kind of caters to everybody in the family and makes it interesting. But yeah, we didn't have anything like that. As far as I know, it was just more so we kind of put this thing together. I hope everybody shows up.
Oh, okay. Okay. And people who may not have paid for their t-shirts got t-shirts?
Oh yeah, they probably did. They probably wearing mine right now.
Wow. And have you all determined where the family reunion is going to be?
It'll likely be in my family's hometown, which is Griffin, Georgia.
Okay. Is that
So
where this last one was?
yes, and that's where my dad's from.
Mhm.
His mom, his brother and sisters. I believe her parents, my grandmother's parents, are from there as well. They might be from McDonough, Georgia. And we just kind of build on what we already had from this year and just kind of make it better. Just make
Nice.
it a lot easier.
So
But yeah,
what would make it better? What do you think? How
I
would you like
think
to see it?
planning it around a holiday will
Mhm.
help so people are off, and that makes it easier to plan travel and what have you. Getting a date set maybe a year before,
Mhm.
at least 8 months out, 6 months out. We didn't have that this time. Having events that cater to every age group and not just
Right.
one age group, making it a little bit more entertaining and interactive for all people to participate, and just increasing communication. We have not just email, but we have text message blasts that we can do, phone calls. We did utilize Zoom here and there. That kind of helped, but there's still like a technological difference in knowledge with the older generation and the younger generation. So we need to have like in-person meetings.
And
And
is it a summertime event, or can it be at Christmas or Thanksgiving, or you
yeah,
prefer like 4th of July, Memorial Day, or Labor Day?
yeah, I don't mind like summertime just because there's a lot more that we can do outside. But I'm also throwing the idea out there of doing this around a Christmas or a Thanksgiving. But a lot of the younger cousins are saying, no, I don't want to go to grandma's house this year. I want to go
Mhm.
out of town.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that sounds reasonable. Or if
Yeah.
they're accustomed to it, if that's their own family dynamic,
Yeah.
what they plan to do. I will tell you that if you are planning for 4th of July, 4th of July in 2024 will be on a Thursday. That's a leap
Mm,
year. And so that'll make it a little bit easier to do that long weekend, maybe, and to do some planning because people will probably, if you're given that Thursday off, more than likely somebody is going to give or take that Friday off. And so,
right.
and just in your planning, I think that's really interesting. Are you the youngest of the group, or you got younger cousins who are also in the planning department?
Well, I'm the youngest grandchild. Everybody around my age are great grandchildren and great great grandchildren. My
Got it.
father, by the time he got married and they had me, they didn't think he was going to have kids. So,
Right. Yeah.
I just ended up being, the last one standing, I guess. So it's kind of funny because a lot of people still see me as the little version of myself, and
Hmm.
they don't realize like, hey, like
All grown
I'm
up.
all grown up. The only thing I'm missing is a child and a husband right now. But
Right.
we're working on
Well,
that.
and not that I'm working on it, but I do know that I am the youngest of my father and his four sisters, kid of that generation. My dad had three sons in his previous marriage, and I came along years and years later, so I was the youngest, and so I'm stuck right there in the middle. There's nobody uh, within throwing distance of above or below me
Oh
in
wow.
terms of kind of similar age and places where we are in life. So it's really kind of interesting to see where this how parents who wait or finally have or come along and how those of us who are the onlys just kind of go and we don't have that I was just with my cousins and all of that kind of stuff because they looked at me as just a little kid and now some of them are gone unfortunately. So
No.
but I'm just really curious about family reunions because we've had maybe a handful of them, and I wasn't in the planning because I was too young and didn't have anything, to add to it, according to them. And so I'm just really curious. I don't know if people are responding, Yolanda, but if they are, we'd like to see what they have. Who should have been invited? Who was not invited? Clarence, I knew that. Janet Ferguson on Facebook. I expected that to be our first one. No way to Clarence, to CT, Justice CT. Ted Cruz is another one. Dora Levette Tiggs says on Facebook. I don't think he would be invited to his own. Kanye, D. Reed. So does that mean no to Kanye, or you would like to? Somebody needs to just pray for Kanye. I think. Uh, Coy, we did a story the other day about people in Kanye's uh, school in California that are suing him.
Oh.
And they say that the circumstances. God, I look short. You're like up here, and I'm like,
I had to back up to get this height.
but Kanye is being sued because people have not been paid because of the conditions of the school. Kanye does not like windows, so they would have the borders of the windows, but no glass, no pane in the windows. They had no windows, and they had to eat with utensils that did not include forks.
Is this prison?
This was his school. This was the Donda West Academy, and there was a name for another one, but no, it's
Reminds me of
crazy.
Redan High School
It's
on the east side.
crazy. I see why Kim Kardashian. I don't see why she did, but I see why she did leave him. Um,
I'm gonna say no to Gunna, the rapper.
okay, okay.
Love your music, bro, but you bringing a little bit too much heat to the streets. We don't know if you snitched or not. We think you did. You can't come to the
You
barbecue.
cannot come to the family reunion,
Mm-mm,
especially not with
mm-mm.
my dear there. Yeah, you can't. No to Gunna. Okay. So we're getting a long list. Aubrey W on YouTube says, I wouldn't invite my Uncle Charles to the cookout or family reunion because once he starts drinking that Jack Daniels whiskey, he starts cursing everyone out from the youngest to the oldest. And let me tell you
Oh,
another
you know
thing.
what? I would invite him for the entertainment.
Okay, you get Uncle Charlie's number, Uncle
Mhm.
Charles's number, and from Aubrey, and see if you can't get Uncle Charles. I bet you Uncle Charles will take you up on that invitation. Pinky Jason on Facebook says, "No string bean casserole, please. You know who you are. Know who you are. Yes, yes. Know who you are." I'm not mad at string bean casserole, but I guess it depends. You know, I was just talking about somebody's macaroni and cheese the other day, and they're like, "Well, what are you doing talking about macaroni and cheese?" But I can make some mac and cheese, and I also know that what I like and what I don't like. What's your specialty, Coy?
Shoot, everything.
I
I
knew
can
you were gonna
do.
say that.
It's
What does your family ask you to make?
you know what? They
What about
don't
your
really know
mom?
I can cook like that.
What about your mom?
My mom, they love everything I make. I had everybody reeling over my pork chops at one point in time. I just made steaks over the weekend. You know,
Do
boyfriend loved those. They were
you have a secret
delicious.
ingredient that
Love.
makes them so Oh,
Let's cook from the heart. I just, kind of look at things and I don't know. I think I have like a very good, like my sense of smell is really good when it comes to herbs and spices and whatever I'm flavoring.
hmm.
So I think that kind of works just with a little bit of experience as well. And I think that's how it goes. I will say at work, when I was in the kitchen
Hmm.
at my job, there were people that did not want to eat the tuna salad unless I made it. If I didn't make it, they didn't want it.
Is this Coy's tuna?
Mm-hmm. That's what they
Mm.
would say, and they wouldn't buy it if it wasn't. Eventually, the sandwich station closed down
Oh
because
wow.
I'm not on it. So
Oh wow. Do you still go down there and have lunch?
I do, and I still keep up with my chef friends or what have you. It's so funny. I was just going through my phone today, and I saw that one of them sent me a text message when my breakfast was ready the other day.
Oh,
I said breakfast time. I didn't know what he was talking about.
oh, that's cute. That's
Yeah.
nice that they miss you. Michelle Lynn Summer on Sybil, does your mac and cheese bake in the oven? No, no, Miss Smarty, Michelle. I take my books out and I put I heat the oven after taking the books out, and then I prepare to put the mac and cheese into the oven. But check this out. Does anybody watch the Bear TV show on Hulu?
It's
It's
on my
about
list, and I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so I think you would, as a chef, you would like this. The Bear is about a family business, Italian beef business in Chicago, and the Bear is the chef, and it's also now the name. In case, spoiler alert, this is the name of his new restaurant. But the chef, well, they were preparing to sample, some new recipes and for their new restaurant. It's going to be a higher end than Italian beef, and the chef invited his assistant in to work on these recipes to his apartment. And so she's going to the oven and she's about to start the. He goes, hold it. He pulled out stacks of blue jeans. That's where he folded his blue jeans and kept them in his oven. I kid you not. I was like, I love this man. That's what storage and smart storage is all about. If you don't use it that often because he does his cooking at the restaurant, then that's where you keep things that you nobody's coming in here to turn on the oven. And he would fold up his blue jeans nicely and put them in his oven. I was like,
Your
yes,
tribe,
yes,
your people.
my person. He's my person. Absolutely. So that's my one of my latest binge worthy shows. All right. Judy Douglas, Hershey Walker, definitely not invited. Yeah, I think he burned all those
Ooh,
bridges behind him
laugh
too.
too hard. Hershey.
Although I gotta say, if I thought Katanji Brown Jackson would come and try my mac and cheese, I would definitely offer her that justice, a seat at the table. Absolutely. I just adore her, and her opinions are just spot on. Okay. Well, thank you all for indulging me in this conversation. And Coy, thanks, and keep us up to date with what you all are going to do with the family reunion and all of that. Let's move to trending topics. Here's where I would normally ask in trending, where Huggy and Chris are going to be, but we don't know where they are right now. So how can we tell where they're going to be? Coy, any of your past performances that you have already recorded, can we see them anytime? I know there was a.
Yeah.
What can we see? Anything
You
coming
can
up?
you can always go to Stars and watch P Valley season 2. I am the stunt double for Roulette. You can always go to Stars and watch season 2 of VMF. I am one of the pole dancers on one of their episodes. And I also believe on, is it Showtime? Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon is currently playing
Mm.
on there. And I'm one of the dancers in that. If you want to go to my TikTok
You're
or
really
my,
anxious for us to see
yeah,
this TikTok.
you
Okay.
know what? It's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't even think it was gonna do all of that. And the last time I checked, I had 1.1 million views. It's wild.
Wow. What did
Mhm.
you do this with your clothes on?
I did. Clothes
Okay.
on, totally on,
All
no
right.
makeup, nothing. And
Okay.
it's a 10-second video, if I'm not mistaken, and it's about relationships, and apparently a lot of people relate to that.
Is
So
this you and your man?
it's just me.
Okay. All right. Well, good on you. Good. Go viral, young woman. Go viral. Um, how's the weather there in Atlanta?
Hot. It's
What's hot?
ridiculous. So hot here means it's gonna rain because of the humidity. This is a Mediterranean climate, so it gets hot, but it's also very, very humid, followed by
Mm,
rain. That's the pattern. So yesterday was hot, felt like a sweat box, and I guess the sky just couldn't hold it anymore. So this
mm,
morning it was raining, like literally driving through flooded streets. Almost hotter the plane a couple times. Like I wasn't
mm.
even going that fast, and I was driving my other vehicle, my truck, which was my dad's truck, today, and I was scared to do it. Oh my god, it was you think you would feel more safe in a truck
Mm-hmm.
during the rain in Georgia, and I was damn near scared to death.
Is that
But
because you were going so fast,
no, I
or
was not going fast. Oh no, no, I'm not playing that in a truck and SUV. I feel like I could flip easier
really?
in a bigger vehicle. So no, I wasn't risking it. It's just also a matter of me getting used to driving it.
Mm-hmm.
And after all of that, and having to stop and check my tires because the tire pressure was low, he got out and checked them; they were fine. And I get to work and it's sunny, like nothing ever happened. As you can see
Yeah.
through the blinds, the closed blinds, it's a
No,
beautiful
nothing.
bright day.
No.
The
Yeah.
birds are still outside chirping and stuff like that, but it's still hot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hot in some places, and yet a lot of areas are flooding. I mean, major flooding. I don't know if people have seen this in Chicago over the 4th of July. There was a major flood, almost like a foot of water in people's basements and things like that. And now in New York State, there's major flooding as well. And I think I want to say it was Detroit over the weekend. Saw where cars were underwater because of just a tremendous deluge of water coming through. So please be careful with that wherever you are and wherever you're going. Today in Fort Worth, Texas, right now, it's about 96 degrees. Last night, um, Ward White was here, and I went outside and we're talking, and I was wondering, I was like, this is nice. It dropped like 9 o'clock, it was about 85 degrees. It was nice out. Too dark to walk your dogs because then the coyotes will come out and you don't want
Oh
that.
shoot.
Oh yeah, that's that. But it was really, I was like, this I could do. But once it, and if I wake up early enough in the morning, I'll walk. And even then, it's kind of humid for me. But it was really nice. I was like, yes, let's go back to this. Remember those days? Let's go back in the Wayback Machine, and definitely get some of this. Coy, do you know people who are UPS workers?
If I do, they're still in the warehouse. I knew plenty of people that have worked for UPS for a long time.
Well, they're moving closer to a strike. And so the labor union is they're starting to print up the placards and the signs and what have you, and they're not getting any kind of traction in the negotiations with management, and so it's going to be interesting to see how this all works with UPS, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, package delivery service, and you just hate to see people uh, be out of work or taken off the job at this particular point, like writers and soon to be Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA are also close to a strike vote. But this is just I love my UPS guys. I think they're some of the nicest people, men and women. Who are out there delivering packages on the street. So I wish you all a lot of good luck. Coy, this might be a little dated for you. I'm not sure how far you go back unless you watch soap operas with your grandma. Um, one of the daytime stars has died. Does anyone remember Andrea Evans? She played Tina.
And
She played Tina Lord on One Life to Live, and
I
she
don't think we
was she
watched that
was
one.
she was she was something. She was like a younger Erica um, from All My Children, which was a sister show to One Life to Live. But she was ooh, this girl was wild. She didn't care who she got in and with, and she was just a wild little hellion. She was such a good actress, and she had to leave the show because of a stalker. Someone was stalking her, and a person not in their right mind, and she had to leave the show because they obviously knew where she worked, and they would follow her. They would do, and this was really before the days of the stalking that we know of now. But Andrea Evans has died from breast cancer. She was 66 years old. She went on to star from One Life to Live. After she left there, she finally came back to daytime because daytime was really good to her. She did The Young and the Restless, and her management said that and she was just an absolutely joy to work with, and best known for playing the troubled teenager Tina Lord on One Life to Live, as I said. Patty Williams on The Young and the Restless, and she was nominated for a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Ingenue for her performance as Tina. And also, she was in the web daytime series Divanity, and she won another Emmy for that. And she played Rebecca Hotchkiss in Passions, another daytime show, and Patty Walker on The Bay, which was, I believe, was another web series. So that's really sad, and I'm sorry that she's gone at such a young age. But she's 66 and suffered from breast cancer. So
I
um,
remember her face, but I don't
yeah,
remember
right. Like I
her
said,
on. Yeah.
and you really are an old soul, so I took a chance that you might remember, but you did recognize her face. But yeah, she
Hmm.
was really something in daytime. And my grandmother used to sit there and watch. Ooh, that Tina! Woo, that Tina! Lord, she's Lord have mercy. That Tina's something else.
I hate to love soap operas, but it's like
I know.
at first they seem so cheesy, and then you really start getting into it, and then
And
it's
then my grandmother would
7 years
explain to
later.
me all of this stuff, and oh, that man looks just like your grandfather used to look. I'm like, oh, okay, uncomfortable here. Um, so this is just broken, and this was something I was going to talk about, but the news has advanced since I put this down on my list
Mm.
regarding the hazing among the football team at Northwestern University, my alma mater. They have reported that Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach, has just been fired from Northwestern amid the hazing
Mm.
scandal. According to reports, over the weekend, the Daily Northwestern, go journalists, reported the background on this story. And one of those, if not two of those who were involved in the hazing, came forward with their stories and was uncomfortable attacks of a sexual nature by members of like the older members of the football team that they did to the freshmen. Like if they messed up on the field, they would do these things. If I can say this, dry hump the players. They would do other things of a sexual nature to these boys, and so it finally came out, and the football coach Pat Fitzgerald, who was also a player at Northwestern, so you kind of think that he may have known, but that's just speculation. Um, he was given 2 weeks. He was suspended for 2 weeks with no pay. Then when the story came out over the weekend that the Daily Northwestern put out, the president's like, I may have been a little hasty and should reconsider this punishment against Pat Fitzgerald. Well, it appears that Pat Fitzgerald was called into the principal's office, and he has since been fired. And now they're about a few weeks away from football really getting underway. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens to the Wildcats. They did not have a great year last year, and people were hoping for a better year. But man, that's just Coy. I remember, and I didn't think this happened, but there was hazing among a HBCU band, right?
Yes, there was at Florida A&M
Florida A&M.
University, and
Right.
unfortunately, the victim is somebody I went to high school with, and
Are
his
you
name is
serious?
yes, his name is Robert Champion, and he
Yeah.
graduated a year before me. He graduated in 2003, and when I was in high school, he played clarinet. He was a very great clarinetist, and he was a great dancer. He helped come up with a lot of our choreography. It was
Yeah.
his dream to be a drum major.
Of course.
This guy practiced all the moves all the time in his neighborhood. He would march up and down the neighborhood for
Oh.
hours practicing his moves. So he finally went to Florida A&M, which was where our band directors went. Most of our teachers went to Florida A&M too. So that was, our dream.
Mhm.
And he went there for several years, stayed in the band until he made drum major. And I
Amazing.
want to say he was an upperclassman by this
Right.
time. A lot of people like to stay in the band until they meet their goals. And he finally met his goal, and he was hazed. And during this one particular incident, I think he was hit in the chest too hard or
Mhm.
something,
Yeah.
and he collapsed, and he had a cardiac arrest. So it was very hard for us to see that, because he, and I'm trying not to break up over this, because when I tell you, he lived, breathed, ate, and slept
Wow.
band. That was, when you think of Robert Champion, you think of that.
What a
And
tragedy that was. Oh my gosh. I
I
remember us
mean,
discussing that
mm,
on the Joyner show, and I thought about you when I was doing the hazing story, because I thought that was so unusual for band hazing, but apparently
it's
it was
not.
a thing.
It's
Did
not.
you
It's
did you go through it?
yeah. Well, I want to say yeah, but I don't want to say so much, because I don't want to get people in
But
trouble.
suffice it
But
to
it
say,
did.
you
It is
were
a thing.
hazed.
I was. It's fair to say I was hazed there, and it's fair to say that this happens not just at HBCUs, because
Mhm.
HBCUs learn this from PWIs.
Right, right.
This is a thing that has gone on for centuries, not just in schools and what have you. They're in a lot of different um, settings. I haven't personally witnessed this in professional settings, although I have heard that there are things like this going on. Then we've heard of hazing going on in the military and what have
Mhm.
you.
Sure.
It is just almost ingrained into people, like it's a rite of passage
Yeah.
for you to go through this. So
Yeah.
with the coach at Northwestern having had played at Northwestern, I'm
Mhm.
sure he was aware of this. A lot of times, even when I was in college, we were under the direction of Dr. Lewis Liddell, and
Mhm.
he gave the entire band a speech and said, "Hey, listen, with all this hazing stuff, don't do it, don't participate in it." They give you the speech to let you know that, hey, this isn't something that you can participate in. You will get in trouble. You can have fraternities and sororities suspended off the yard,
Mhm.
sometimes indefinitely. With a lot of this now, you start getting into criminal punishment and what have you. And they do advise students not to do this.
Right.
However, it doesn't override the fact that some of this stuff still happens, and the methods that they go with to hide these things. Now, the lengths that they go, I can
Yeah.
say, hey, listen, I didn't participate in what we were just talking about in the Northwestern hazing. I don't know
Mhm.
of anything happening like that while I was in school. I haven't overheard of that happening to other friends at other HBCUs. But I will say, I mean, we would have stuff like they named us really funny names and we had to do like
Yeah.
skits.
Yeah, that's professional football players will go through that. You know, they'll the rookies and stuff. They'll go through those things and make them sing, and they'll give them names. And you got to do this. Professional football, basketball. Magic Johnson talked about what he had to do with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is what happened at Northwestern, not only of a sexual nature but of a racial and racist nature. I understand as well, treating some of the brown and black players as well. So
Oh yeah,
it,
we're
it
not doing
breaks my
that.
heart, but it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Northwestern is a microcosm of our society, and it just like most schools are, and racist elements, sexist, and homophobic elements are a part of that environment. So um, let's move to entertainment and to some good news. Jamie Foxx is back. Apparently, he's gone through rehab in the Chicago area, one of the best rehab centers in the country. And not only was he out boating on Lake Michigan over the weekend, but he was also seen swinging the club at Top Golf. I was like, okay, team too much. Jamie, take it easy. We know that you want people to see you. You still got it. You're back. You're better than ever. But first of all, what was it? Boating. Then he was supposed to be playing. Before that was paddle balling and pickleball.
Pickleball.
Ball and then now boating and now swinging at Top Golf, and with Top Golf comes a lot of food and beverage and things like that. Take it easy. We're glad you're back. We'll be very excited to see you back on screen, but
Yes.
don't overdo it,
Well,
please.
as my birthday twin and fellow Sagittarius, he's doing what we like to do,
Too much.
getting out.
Like I said, too much is what I think would be what I would say. But too much of a good thing can lead to some more bad things for you. So, I don't know if you're one of those. Were you a Barbie kid? Did you own Barbie dolls when you were
Oh
a kid?
man, yes I did. I wanted all of them. I had the
Yeah.
magazine. My sister had the car she wouldn't let me play with, so I had to use a shoebox, and and I would be like kind of envious of the girls like with their Monsters 800 Barbie collection with all
Yeah.
the mansions and stuff. I'm like, wow, can I do that? My parents are like, are you crazy?
My parents got off
No.
so easy. I was like, yes, I'd like a Barbie doll, and yes, I want the clothes, and yes, but I didn't do. My dad had, I had a dollhouse, but it wasn't a Barbie dollhouse.
I didn't even
Just
get
go play with the
that.
dollhouse we made for you, and but I did, have Barbie dolls and things like that. As a matter of fact, there's still, if someone has ever come across, there's a Barbie doll that was buried on the shores of Lake Michigan, at Union Pier in Lake Michigan. For my got the Barbie doll for my birthday, and my cousins and my friends were out swimming, and I didn't want to leave my doll, so I buried the doll and then could not find it. So
Oh
hopefully
goodness. Oh
some child
no.
has found Barbie that was buried years ago. And but the Barbie movie is coming out. Have you seen? Who hasn't seen the ads for the Barbie movie?
Oh, not only have I seen the
You're
ads,
in it. Are you
apparently,
in it?
no, I'm not in it.
Oh, oh,
Apparently on Twitter, there was a big thread going on with talking about the young lady that starred as Barbie,
Margot Robbie.
made everybody wear pink, and if they didn't, and I want to say it was like the PAs who were only making like $15 an hour or something, she would find them and take that money and donate it to charity. But the whole hubbub was about, why would you find these people that already aren't making a lot of money,
Yeah,
but they're working on set 24/7
that's
just
crazy.
because they want to
I
wear
I
pink?
I heard her the fine thing. I didn't know what it was all about because I heard that she wanted everybody to get into the whole pink culture. But that really surprises me and saddens me that she would do that to especially the young people that are there just to get experience and not
Mhm.
make really not making any money for a lot of work.
I
In
hope
many
that's a
cases.
rumor.
I do too. I do too. I am excited because some of the people that are in it, I think Margot Robbie is a really talented young actress, and I really love Ryan Gosling. But some of the others who are in the movie, and I'm there for the black people, just like she's always down for the black people. Issa Rae plays President Barbie. And if you haven't seen that promo picture, Kate McKinnon is also a different version of Barbie. Kate McKinnon, the talented woman from Saturday Night Live, plays another one of those. And of course, Issa Rae from Insecure and other great things that she's done on television, on HBO, and what have you. America Ferrera, I'm a big fan of hers. Helen Mirren also is among the humans, and Will Ferrell also one of the humans. And Ryan Gosling, as I said, is Ken, and there are various versions of Ken as well. So that's coming out. But my God, this is the longest ramp up to a movie. It's like, oh, so it's coming out this next, no, 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 end of the, okay, all right, okay.
No, they had to make sure they had enough pink paint. Apparently, there was so much paint that they bought that they were, sold out
Yep.
almost everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Man.
And I guess that looking at the Barbie sign or whatever, you see pink, but I didn't see all the pink that is in this movie. But anyway,
They
uh,
couldn't make it green and, use computer technology to make it
they
pink.
probably did use computer technology this day and age. I'm thinking. Coy, thank you so much for hanging out with me this hour. I appreciate it. And let us close out with today's Yogi's Jewel. Don't work on your emotional and mental well being. You are subject to interrupting others' emotional and mental well being. So you do your thing, allow other people to do their thing, and don't interrupt. And there the twain shall meet, as they say. You do yours and work on your mental health and well being. Let the people around you, next to you, behind you, do the same in their lives as well. Thank you all so much for joining us. Chris Paul, we missed you. Huggy Lowdown, we send our condolences, and we will see you all again next week. Take care. Aloha.